The EP3 is back. No, it is not getting abandoned in another forest. Might be getting slightly abandoned in a shop, but it's much better than getting abandoned in a forest. But no longer, no longer. It's time to get this thing 100% back to factory spec, 100% back to driving, registered, insured, and looking awesome. Because obviously, that's the problem. For one, there's no bumper, there's no bash bar. The hood, dented and miscolored. The fender, miscolored. And also, kind of boring. So we might even modify it a bit. And so that's what's gonna happen in this video. Round 2 of bodywork and paint. So if you missed any of the last videos on this car, we found this thing abandoned. Now the owner said it had been abandoned for 5 years, but the last time this thing was registered was 10 years ago. Found it abandoned in the forest, we dragged it out of there, we got it running and driving, you know, new brakes, engine refresh, and then we tried to clean it up. Now most of the body did polish up quite nicely, but there was some damage from an accident, and some of the body panels clearly were repainted and they did not last as well as the factory paint. And so the mission today is to get it all back and good. Now it turns out body parts for this year of EP3 are kind of hard to find. And so instead of replacing the front bumper and the hood like we did on the Accord, we have to repair them. And they've got some pretty big dents. So without further ado, let's tear them off and start doing some body work. Before we actually start bodyworking the hood, we want to make sure it fits right. The problem is that the hinges were damaged in the accident. Bent all out of whack, as you can kind of see. Now I bought new hinges, and here's the problem. They're not for an SI. They say they were for an SI, but this is the thing. Like, they look close, but that one's way longer, and the mounting base is different. So these are trash, and this is what I was saying. Parts for this car are hard to find. And all the databases saying like, oh yeah, this part fits on an SI and in a regular car. It's all wrong. So it's just like, you buy parts and they don't fit. So, well, when in doubt, cut it up. We're just gonna do two notches, not even full cuts, to make it bending this thing easier. Maybe that's better, maybe it's not. Just it sitting here is not perfect, but previously it was like touching here and like an inch gap over here. So I think the point is I got it good enough. Everything's gonna need a lot of adjustment once we put it all together, but that's okay. Much lighter than the Accord, that's nice. And with that, let the body work begin. So the bumper is pretty much fully body worked. All the body filler is on there and it's nice and shaped. As you can see, the line's good. It's all good. Now it does need a little bit of filler primer and sanding because there's some like little tiny little pinholes and stuff. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and test fit this front lip, drill all the holes we need to for that, so that that's ready to go. So I have kind of test fitted this before and it's funky, let's just put it that way. Yeah, it fits, but it just wants to like be ripped upwards for some reason. It's very strange. You try a heat gun? I don't know. So I use the heat gun to get the plastic nice and warm. I have a very cold rag of acetone. I'm gonna bend it into shape, kind of shape I want, and then cool it off with the acetone, and that should hopefully make it set. Well, I got everything test fitted. Lip fits nicely now. Fog lights are kind of test fitted. They're just placed in there. But it looks sick. It's looking like a modified EP3. I'll talk more about this lip and everything once we get it on the car. But I think for now we can take this apart and filler primer this beer. All right, I forgot one thing. I bought this Mugen style grill off eBay to go with the front bumper. I didn't have a factory grill, and I don't really like the factory grill. It's just like a piece of mesh with a Honda badge in the center. This I thought looked pretty cool. I should have thought about the fact that it was a cheap eBay part, and it does not fit very well. So we're gonna try to modify this to fit. Definitely better. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. I made this mixer out of some welding wire, and it works better than the mixer I used in the last video. We're gonna let that dry, and then we're just gonna sand the part that we had to do all the body work. But it looks pretty good. I don't see any super obvious imperfections. That's primered, bumper's primered. This filler primer sealer definitely drying better than the epoxy primer, just because it's got like a hardener in it. So that's nice. Gonna go ahead and cook it with the heater for a little bit. And then we can do a little bit of sanding, and then probably another touch-up layer on this and on the rest of the stuff. So we still have to sand the filler primer down here and then do another layer of filler primer. But in the meantime, while that dries a bit more, we have two more things we need to get ready for primer. One is this fender over here. As you can tell, it's kind of gross. I tried to polish it, but I mean, clearly this thing's too far gone. So we're gonna take this thing off, primer and paint it. And then also that grill we were messing with earlier. Gotta take this bumper bracket off. so since this is plastic, we're gonna use the adhesion promoter again. Before painting the rear lip, I want to test fit it. I had to remove these factory mud guards that are full of mud. Yeah, looks good. I like it. I think it'll look good with the front lip and stuff. The key, which I mean, it's probably hard to see, lines up with the side skirt. So this is feeling like a bit of deja vu. Primer went on, went nicely. It even dried pretty good, but the days after the primer, they were all below 30 degrees here in Georgia. So I just didn't want to have to paint. You can make it work, but you have to, heat up the booth and then turn off the heater and then clean the things before it gets cold and then paint it, then cook it again and then clean the things again. It just complicates things. So I just waited. That's why you guys got the Accord quick build last weekend. Sorry, but it's over with. We can continue. What we have to do is we have to sand the primer stuff because it sat too long, and just to make it a little bit better. Then we can do base coat and we can do clear coat. So all the primered things are sanded. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting them back into the booth, cleaning them before we get them in there, and then doing some more cleaning once they're in there, get it all set up, and we can start painting. The question is, where is everything gonna go? I'm not exactly sure yet. All right, we're ready to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and wet the floors real quick. For everyone who missed the last video, wetting the floors helps collect the dust. Now, we mix the paint. Get the gun ready. We do have some difference with the paint. It's not from Eastwood. I got it mixed by my local paint shop. They actually hooked me up. Turns out they're fans, so that's really cool. Huge shout out to them. Auto Paint Specialty Co. And they reduce it so it's just ready to spray. Does it have instructions on it? Ooh, it's a little tragic. Looks white, that's for sure. Break off a piece of aluminum, bend it, like so. We got our mixer. I'm gonna pour it into one of these first, just to make it easier. Let's bring this in the other room. Man, I was so confident. I was like, man, this is going great. All this painting. This thing's got fish eyes. It's got runs. That right there puts us back a day. You grab this and put this in the garbage. Not actually, but the mental garbage. But fuck you, I don't want to deal with you anymore, garbage. I guess let's try this next. That'd be a big fat freaking no. I don't get it. I didn't even use a heater this time. really don't get it. So like, here's the thing. Compared to when I was having fisheyes from the diesel heater, it's not very bad. But you shouldn't be getting any fisheyes. There's one there. There's one somewhere. Oh, I've got something on my screen, so it's confusing. There's one right there too. There's probably like 5 or 6 on this panel. I've paint prepped it 3 different times. Simple greened it before then. It's scuffed up. You know, it's the same setup I used in the last painting video. So I've got a very fancy air dryer here. I got an air dryer on the gun. That's clean. Everything's good. Gun itself was just clean. I'm gonna clean all these pieces again and then try it, but like, it's just so, the feeling of putting in hours of work for some mysterious force to ruin it is just so frustrating, especially when you're on a time crunch. The only thing that's different from when we painted the Accord is the paint. So I'm gonna actually just spray a little section of the black Accord paint on this and see if that fixes it. I realized there was one other thing I switched between when I painted the Accord and when I'm painting these parts, and that's the microfiber. I used the same degreaser, I used the same booth, the same line, the same setup, the same gun, the same cleaner for the gun. Clearly the paint didn't matter. The only other thing was the microfiber. So right here, I cleaned with just a shop towel and some simple green, and it's the best result so far. No fisheye. I have acquired reinforcements for my battle against fisheyes. The battle will be won, and I will not give up until it is. I went to Auto Paint Specialty Co. here in Athens. Shout out to them again. Not only are they giving me a good deal on parts, but they also actually taught me things and are patient with me because I don't know a lot. Turns out you're not supposed to use reusable wipes like microfibers when prepping for paint because they've got all sorts of gunk in them. So we have some single-use paper towels. In addition to that, wax and degreaser only cleans certain chemicals. So we have an H2O cleaner and a wax and grease remover and 2 spray bottles for them. And I got more sandpaper because the first step before being able to test all this is sanding more. So I'm gonna go ahead and resand all the parts and then we can see if this works. And if it doesn't, there's something called fisheye remover. Just saying. We got all the pieces sanded again. You know, is it gonna be perfect? No, but hopefully this will work. The plan is to go ahead and clean it with simple green just to get all the dust off, and then transport it into the paint booth where we will use all the fancy degreaser and cleaner. But let's just skip to that step. We got the 2 guns right here. One's full of the water cleaner, one's full of the wax and grease remover. So we're gonna do the water cleaner first, use the towels, and then do this. The lovely people at the paint store also told me just to, instead of saturating a towel and using that, do more of a little spray and a wipe in one direction. Don't know what the reason for that is, but hey, they tell me to do it, I'm gonna do it. It's kind of funny how this worked out. It ended up being another extremely frustrating, but full of learning painting session. Here I am, I thought I learned everything from the first painting session. Of course not. Never will I use a microfiber before painting again, unless I'm like spray painting or something. So now I do that to everything. Now we're gonna hit it with the degreaser, and then tack cloth, and then we paint. And either get really angry and sad, or get really happy and relieved, I think is the most notable emotion I will feel. I will also say these paper wipes are way nicer than I was expecting. I just kind of think of paper as super linty and dusty, but this is not it. And it pretty much totally reduces the static too. Microfibers are so staticky. I mean, that looks nice, but it looked nice before, so it's, you know, what does that mean? I don't know. Well, everything is clean, ready to go. I didn't even need to use a tack cloth with using these paper towels because they didn't make any static. There's no dust on anything, so that's good. We're gonna mix some paint. Actually, we don't even have to mix it, we just have to put it in. Nice and light, nice and good, okay. It's working enough. All of this turned out great. This lip turned out great. This lip did not. Like, see all that? Look at all this shit. Bruh. Bruh. Well, that went much better with the new cleaning stuff. Everything went on smoothly, and it looks really nice. Way better with the dust, with no filter on the fan. The only thing that had a little bit of issues is this one lip over here. Don't know why. Something about it. But I did enough layers where it's not terrible. I mean, there's some spots where you can see stuff, you know. But do I care? Not really. It is what it is. So now, time for the clear coat. Yet again, we're gonna be using the leftover Eastwood clear coat I got. Hopefully I have enough. I think I do. Very nice. Well, the clear went very, very smoothly. No fish eyes. I got one run, but it's in the clear, so I could easily fix that. I can tell there's way less orange peel because it's warmer, and it actually made a big difference. Is it perfect? No, but the results of these pieces are way better than the cord. Maybe not way better, but definitely better. Especially like the hood, painting on a flat surface. Look at that. That was pretty good. Less dust too about the filter. It turned out really nice. So man, that was hell. But we're done with it. So now while we wait for the paint to dry, we're gonna do a few things up here. Firstly, we're gonna go ahead and clean up the headlight bump brackets and powder coat those. So now we got those in there. Next up, I want to go ahead and put the AC condenser in here and paint around the AC condenser black so that you don't see the chassis through the bumper. Right out of the oven, looking perfect. Same thing with the other one right here. I'm really liking this Eastwood powder coating gun. So we got all that put back together. Now here's the thing. The reason I didn't really want to put the AC condenser in there is because the radiator's there and it's got the cool Mishimoto M on it. Now you can't see that. So I made something. It's a stencil. That turned out really good. I need a knife to get the O's out though. All right, that is our not Mishimoto AC condenser. I know you guys are questioning what's going on, like the black spray paint, the white spray paint, the Mishimoto on the AC condenser, the yeah. Just wait, once this is all put together, I can guarantee it's gonna look good. And speaking of which, the last thing we have to do before we can put the body panels on is make a bash bar. Because right now it's got no crash support, nothing connecting this frame rail to that frame rail. Originally, I wanted to make a big bash bar that curved along with the bumper, but my metal supplier sent me the wrong metal. So I couldn't do that, couldn't bend anything. And so we're gonna make a lightweight crash support, something that you see on track cars, just a bar. Let's do it. That is that. Now we can go ahead and put it all together. But real quick, we're gonna go ahead and wire up the fog lights. I'm not gonna wait 3 months to do it this time. Well, the fog lights are wired up and ready for our bumper. So let's continue with the reassembly. Now I was getting ready to put the fender on because that's the first thing to go on, because you do that, and then the headlights, then the bumper, and then the hood. But I bumped the mirror and then this happened. Turns out this thing had been broken and homie re-glued it. I will say the more I work on this thing, the more I realize it's definitely been in 2 separate accidents. One was the one that was right in the front that took everything out. There was another one that was just over here. Hence why the fender was replaced, hence probably why that mirror is broken, and why there's things like that monstrosity. So it is what it is. Track car, bro, right? I think when we put a better K-series in this thing, we'll probably like do a tube front end. So kind of chop the front right in front of the strut towers and make a cool tube chassis thing. I think that'd be fun. Anyway, I'm gonna have to remove this mirror, which means I had to remove the door card, which is annoying, because that means all the plastic clips broke. All right, where can it fit? Maybe right there, perfect. Homie in Colorado selling one for $70, but it's color matched, so I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it now. The hood isn't, pushed all the way down right now, but I got it to fit pretty good with the headlights. Now we have to see if it fits well with the bumper, because obviously it's a 3-part solution here, 3-body problem. Unfortunately, you can kind of tell that it's a slightly different color, but we haven't polished any of this stuff. So once everything is reassembled, we'll wash the car and polish the old stuff. King's over here trying to make carbon fiber stuff. Yeah. Behind the scenes. All right, so what we have to do on this bumper is install the lip, the fog lights, and the side markers. We'll put the grill in once it's on the car. Now the other thing that we're gonna do is paint the grill of the bumper black and the grill of the grill black. I don't wanna do that yet because I'll have to tape stuff off, and I just don't trust this yet. I want it to dry fully before I tape stuff off, so not gonna happen in this video, but let's put the side markers in and the other stuff. Fog lights, and at least one of them. Unfortunately, I had to do a little bit of fabrication to actually make it work, because I guess this car or this bumper wasn't meant for the fog lights, so, but it's in there, and it ain't going nowhere. Now I should imagine once the grill is black too, it'll look much better, because the white grill ain't it. All right, moment of truth. It's always kind of tricky because you want to try to get it on without screwing shit up. Ooh, baby. Get this into place here. Is it perfect? No, but that fits pretty decently. The lip's perfect. It matches like the factory side skirt really nicely. Pull it around like so. So now that the car is put back together, we're gonna go ahead and take it out, give it a little wash, hopefully get all the colors a bit closer together. Brakes kind of need to be bled. So for some reason the power steering still isn't working, so that's an issue we'll actually have to fix. Oh, Okay, maybe it's a little important. First time this thing has seen a public street since, well, I guess we don't really exactly know, but what are you doing? Nice blinker, buddy. It's just a nice car. After taking videos and pictures of this thing, Keegan and I have decided it's a combination of an EK Civic. The front end kind of looks like a newer EK Civic, right? And then the back is kind of like a second generation fit. And that's why they look so awesome. And that's why EP3s are sick. And everyone should love them. I think that clutch is probably on its way out after you drove it. It's actually really fun.
With an intake, it sounds so good.
I know, I'm excited. I have an intake and all the stuff to build a custom header for it. It's probably gonna be loud. There's like a weird, I don't know if it's just because the power steering's not working, but there's like a weird slop in the, wow, handles so good, you can't even hold on to your, it really does handle pretty good for stock suspension, like, maybe not. Oh, I'm so excited to take this thing to the track, totally stock. So there are still a lot of little things we need to do to the exterior to get it totally finished. Front grille and emblem, passenger side mirror, the trim pieces on the roof, and just a good detail. Polish, clean, all the cracks and crevices of this thing. There's still bushes, bugs, and things hiding in places that I don't want to look. Besides that, it's back together, and it looks like a car, and it looks awesome. I love EP3s. And this is it, totally stock. So next, the modifications begin. Now we're gonna be doing this series a little bit different than the Accord or any of the other series. We're going to be, doing a video and we're gonna install the mods in that video, but since this is a track car, or like we're kind of building it as a track car, a car for me to take to the track, every video where we do a modification, we will also take it to the track in that video. So for example, the next video we're gonna do racing seats, interior mods, shifter cables, and then we're gonna take it to the track. And man, we got a lot of mods planned, so a lot of track driving, but it's not gonna be like boring track driving where it's like one full video of just going around and around and around. It's just gonna be like a minute or two, I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and this is the perfect car to do it in. So hopefully you guys are excited too. If you do want to support the channel, please check out Patreon. You can also get merchandise. You can get the Accord poster. You can get some new shirts coming soon. You can also support my sponsors. Check out Eastwood for the powder coater and the paint stuff that we used in this video. And if you're in Athens and you need painting supplies, check out Auto Paint Specialty Co. I think that's about it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.